The following event is produced by WCSN, the home of world champions.
And so to the last race of our morning session. Plenty to come this afternoon, but this is the final of the men's double sculls. And again, a race which is full of interest, with France on the far side, two crews in this, Jonathan Koefick and Julien Bahrain on the far side, and then Akos, Haller and Thibaut Pinot for Hungary in two. Germany, René Bertram and the very experienced Robert Sens for the host nation in three. Here, Jean-Baptiste Maquet, the new partner for Adrien Hardy. Well, we don't know whether that's definitive. It may well depend on what happens today. Matthew Wells and Stephen Rowbottom for Great Britain, just underlining what a great morning Great Britain are having. And away we go. Good start. Everybody away cleanly. And going away with Germany, René Bertram and Robert Sens. You can see that traditional, determined start there by Robert.
Yeah, Robert Sens, he is world champion in the quadruple scull 3 years in succession, 01, 02 and 03. Of course, it all fell apart in 04. And he was also, and curiously he was a world champion in the pairs as an oarsman with one oar in his hand rather than two sculls back in '98 with Detlef Kirchhoff. So he's got a hell of a background. René Bertram, another brother with a brother called Robert, also called Robert Brother. He was first in the quad in 02. So they've got great pedigree, and the reason they're in the double scull is because they were first in the Duisburg German trials, and indeed won the Duisburg regatta the following day on the Sunday. And so that indicates that for the German team, the double scull is their premier boat, and the quadruple scull for the men is their second boat. But if these two do well here, they will cement their position in the double and will go straight way through, I think, to the World Championships in the third week of August in the double.
What's interesting for me is this crew in four, and you can just see them edging into the lead here. Jean-Baptiste Maquet, 22 years of age, from Dieppe, with Adrien Hardy, of course, Olympic gold medalist in the double scull, with his partner Sébastien Viardon in Athens, and they have started very strongly, Hugh.
Indeed, Hardy was the powerhouse. Sébastien Viardon was a lovely sculler, slightly temperamental fellow, a bit of an intellectual, slightly rive gauche type, and he retired actually to think about life, and is presumably still thinking about it somewhere. But Hardy, meanwhile, who doesn't think too much about life, is in the stroke seat, but is driving along this double scull with Jean-Baptiste Maquet probably hanging on in there by his fingertips.
On the far side there in lane one, again, a very interesting confrontation between the two French crews. You've got 24-year-old Jonathan Koefick and Julien Bahrain, who's only 20, and Koefick from 7th place last year in the double sculls. They were all involved together, so this is a sort of, again, a rearrangement of crewing.
Yes, the World Cup regattas are, and always were, intended as trials and team building processes leading through to the real World Championships, which happen, as I say, in the third week of August. And so in this case, the big teams have the chance to wonder whether we should try it this way round or that way round, or stick the whole lot of them in an 8 or what. And that's the process of a World Cup regatta like this.
So coming through now to the half distance here, and Great Britain not the quickest of starts. They were down in 5th place, a second and a half to find, and they've still got work to do here. Matthew Wells and Steve Rowbottom, who were 7th in the British quad last year, did well to do the B final, but they were really disappointed, Hugh, not to have made the final.
They were very disappointed not to make the final, and the quad stayed together, in theory at least, until February. But it was at that point that Campbell said, I want to do the single, and at that point that Matt Langridge, the stroke of the quad, said, I think I want to go with one oar and become an oarsman, and so he's moved across and is now stroking the British 8. And so there is There was a breakup of the quad. These two got left behind in the double, and they're not doing badly. I've been watching the flags while you were talking earlier, David, and I've been looking at the course, and I actually think we may have a little bit of a headwind back down, and it's a slightly biased headwind, and it is actually lanes 5 and 6 that will be suffering slightly here. Not as much as earlier on in the day, but it is possible that they are suffering. France in lane 4 still leading the race, but the Germans in lane 2, Bertram and Sens, are now closer to back on level terms.
So France 1:38.32 for the second quarter. Germany a little quicker, 1:37.93 in the second 500 to put themselves back in contention.
Wells and Rowbottom there in lane 5. They are in touch with the leaders and actually looking quite lively in the water, quite sharp. And we'll just see what their rate of striking is. They're at 37.5, Wells and Rowbottom, and there they are in picture, pulling back in. I beg your pardon, that's France.
Yeah.
But they're not far out of it, and should be in the tussle between them and Hungary, the former world champions Akos Heller and Tibor Peto, for third place. Wells and Rowbottom there.
Yeah, but France having a great struggle here, and on the near side, is this going to be the comeback morning? Because that's the way it's been. And now, having led early on, it's Adrien Hardy and his partner Jean-Baptiste Maquet who are trying to claw that lead back off Rennie Bertram and Robert Sens. And this is a real ding-dong battle. 2:50 to go, and it's now millimetres. And just out of picture there, also Matthew Wells and Steve Rowbottom. 40 strokes a minute now. Germany piling it on the far side of Germany. Hungary, Akos Haller and Tibor Peto also trying to make third place themselves. But here comes Matthew Wells and Stephen Rowbottom, who are vying for that third place, and the battle is on for all the places here, and it is Germany leading at the moment. Strongly there, being challenged by France, but the Hungarians coming really strongly to maybe take second place. Wells and Rowbottom are not out of it, almost 4 in a line. Still Germany with the call. About 5 strokes to go to the line here, and it is Rennie Bertram and Robert Sens are going to come through. On the far side, Hungary challenging for second place with France and Great Britain, and it's Hungary who gets that second place. I would think it is a photograph. Germany definitely the winners of the men's double sculls, and a photograph between Germany and France. Hungary have got it. Hungary have got second place. Fast finish there from Hungary. France are in third place, and Great Britain 1:34.12, the second fastest finisher. They were travelling almost as fast as the Hungarians in that last quarter to bring them up to within just over half a second of France.
Within half a second of France, and they were not closer than that. That's a fair time, but a fantastically strong result from them. And but what a race for first place. I mean, France, Germany, couldn't tell which was which, and then Germany pulled out with about 200 meters to go and established that half-length lead, with the Hungarians closing on the French. But that's 3 very good double sculls, with a 4th in close attendance, and it's inspiring to think what the season will be like from here on out.
Confirmation of a terrific finale to our morning session. I'll tell you about the afternoon in a moment.
This event was produced by WCSN, the home of world champions.